High schoolers of Reddit, what cliques exist now? Is it still nerds, jocks, stoners? Or are there new groups that the older Redditors don't know about? AskReddit kids, SoundCloud, the kids and STEM activities. Is white kids who think they're black still a thing? Very much. It's funny to watch TBH. I'm 28, but my younger sister and her clique led me to believe the alternative goth group is massive here in Atlanta. I'm 22, also from Atlanta. The goths were making a big comeback when I graduated from high school in 2014. We used to call them the blood clot at our school because they would just stand at choker points in the halls and slow down the flow of traffic. A recent group that popped up is Offensive Kids. Every generation has one, but this time they more or less center around Filthy Frank and iDubbbz. They always worship Stalin or Hitler too. There are the people who act popular, but aren't. Then there are the normal people, generally considered the popular ones. Then the skater-like kids, the more relaxed gamers, and other more mild nerdy types, usually shoved together to form what could be considered one bigger group. At the bottom of the hierarchy we have what I call the hallway kids. These are things like the typical drama kids, weebs, emo kids, and a few others. Stoners are evenly spread across all groups, and the number of them rises as you get older. Alright, in no order you've got the full send jocks. These kids are fully committed to their sports, usually football or basketball, and tend to look down onto anyone who doesn't play a sport. The full send jocks and one. These guys are the same as the ones listed above. However, they are also academically gifted as well. The front door kids. Here, you will find all the drugs or jewel pods you may need. The band geeks. Self-explanatory. They seem to get laid as well. The artsy hoes, black and white filters on Instagram and VSCO, appear to try a little too hard. The nerdy bunch. 4.0 GPAs. Don't care about anything but the test next Friday. Super friendly, however they are not very sociable. Normal group. Average grades. Some play sports. Most just mind their own business and don't bother anyone. Stoners. Come to school high. Get high at lunch. Leave high. Skaters. Act like they skate and wear skate clothes. Actual skaters may be included into the stoner group, except they skate. Popular girls. Everyone knows who they are and get fricked up regularly. The god. Insane athlete. 4.0 GPA. Manages a social life. Usually a nice person. Can get litty. Oh, and that one group of kids that think they are better than everyone else and wears alternative clothes and listens to alternative music. For me, it's kids calling each other mom or dad, etc. This is such a weird phenomenon. They act like it's the funniest freaking thing in the world. The mainstream clique. Wearing Adidas Suprema only, listening to Lil, insert name, only, are broke as crap because of spending all money on alcohol, weed. This describes 90% of my class, but it's not as extreme as you would imagine in most cases. The aesthetic clique is a big one here in LA. They all thrift shop, go to shows, and do a lot of drugs. Everyone thinks they are better than everyone else in that scene. They think fear the crap because they know some band member. It used to be unique, but it seems everyone is trying to be a part of it now. Band kids are their own society in my school, at least. Our band is like 300 strong. Also, there are different levels of jocks. There are the jocks that are good at sports, the jocks that stick around by the people that are good at sports even though they're garbage, and the jocks that are good and also nice to people. These are rare. There's these kinda hipster kids. They're mainly nerdy kids who don't want to associate with the nerds because they're more artsy, creativity minded. Then there's the sort of Tumblr crew, as I like to call them. Nerdy girls who are often big into obsessive fandom based stuff that you'd find on Tumblr. There's a woman at my work who reminds me of the Tumblr description. She's 30 but has a shirt that says horror movies are my spirit animal and is really into zombies in general. I'm a big horror fan myself, but she takes a very fandom approach to it. She never speaks to anybody, but stares frequently. Memers and gamers are growing. I'd also say skaters are growing as well. The Mean Girls group seems to be more inclined to physical fighting now instead of just verbal torment. New emo is a growing group, often found wearing skinny jeans and black makeup. Lots of artists in this group. Lots of fandom kids, too. K-pop, anime, and manga dominate this group, seen in unusual clothes like animal or elf ears, and often covered in or carrying swag, stickers, collectibles, clothes, etc. from their fandom. Furries. I'm a few years removed, but a surprising clique I remember was the sort of mental illness Tumblr crowd of girls, imagine emo, self-harming individuals with eating disorders all becoming friends, but being mainstream enough to not be considered weird, usually by partying a lot, hiding mental illness. I was friends with a few of them and it was awful and toxic. Everyone tried to one-up each other with their suffering because they were mostly just seeking attention. Girls would self-harm and starve themselves if it meant the other girls, and guys, would notice them more and care about them. I blame a few things: a complete lack of mental health services for high schoolers for one, but also a romanticism of things like depression and self-harm. Craps fricked you. Weebs, jocks, smart people, stupid people, AP stackers, all very different, and not necessarily separated by gender race. They're academic jocks now. All the cool kids have 4.0 GPAs and play sports. They're also kids who travel in groups dressing like rappers or something. These kids tend to have no talent and crap grades but are looked at as the lit kids. The nerds are nerds but they tend to be the biggest bullies, acting like everyone is under them. There are a lot of small groups of people who have no correlations to each other that hang out and they usually mind their own business. Me and my good pals are group hoppers. We bounce around. SoundCloud rappers, Instagram models, people who like to drink lean, pop zans, and only listen to drugged out rappers, people who dress really well. Hype beasts. Nerds have seemingly almost been phased out. Our generation seems to be more focused on succeeding throughout high school, as shown by the increasing difficulty to get into colleges compared to the past. So being smart and getting good grades isn't nearly as cliquey as before, though there are kids who don't have any social life outside of their schoolwork. But the movie 21 Jump Street depicts the whole situation pretty well. There's the same cliques but the roles have kind of been reversed. The class clown slacker used to be popular in the past but now they're seen as rebellious idiots. Nerdy hipsters are seen as cool for excelling in multiple things and being expressive. There's still nerds, jocks, stoners, but there's like subcategories. There's academic nerds, anime nerds, conceited jocks, which are different than football players, stoners that just smoke weed, stoners that do LSD and crap, aesthetic girls that do drugs to seem cute to the stoner guys, and the lesbian phase girls. The completely average, not really belonging to any one group. Just a bunch of kids that aren't really distinct enough or on the opposite side of the spectrum. Too strange to fit in anywhere else, so they all just mingle with about everyone in the school but don't really have a solid friend group. I guess I sort of fall in this category, mostly because I have weird taste in music and art in general, and it's pretty lonely. I know that makes me sound like a huge edgelord, but it'd be nice to just have someone to relate to. Kids who duel, kids who don't. A whole lot of furries. It's weird, I'm not sure how to describe it. It's like a group of kids who are ironically hilarious. Like they will wear clout goggles and do hilarious stupid crap all the time, but they're also geniuses for some reason. There's a lot of them in my school. They're memers but aren't cringe and actually really cool to hang out with. To an extent, there's academic nerds and anime nerds, like little neckbeards if you will. Most teenagers get stoned on a regular basis, but there is a subcategory for kids who come to school stoned. There are hipper beasts, kids who go crazy over Yeezys and Supreme. Jocks are the sports players who will most definitely go to college on a fully paid scholarship. And there's this emerging aesthetic group who either wear most black, white and grey and listen to Arctic Monkeys, or the aesthetic kids who live like they're in Stranger Things. And don't forget the Hamilton obsessing theater kids. Wankers and twats. Wankers have always been in school though. The social hierarchy, athletic nerds who are better than everyone, AP classes, varsity football, and not jerks, athletic nerds who are kinda jerks, the really smart and well-rounded kids, not athletes, but they participate in everything, have good social lives, and have good grades, attractive people, some overlap, normal, non-jerk athletes, average grades, decent people, nerds, smart, nerds, pop culture, nerds, meme lord, stoners, unmotivated, lazy slackers, jerks who are jerks because they are compensating for something everything and everyone knows they are full of themselves. The indie group, in the UK anyway. The party girls who say they aren't party girls. They're not that hard to spot. They usually hang out with the cool kids who do drugs, not limited to pot at my school, and go to a ton of parties and do a ton of crap. It's about half and half with whether or not they're mean. Half of them are nice. Usually they're not super deep into the lifestyle because they want to graduate, but the other half don't care. And usually one or two of them ends up pregnant. Oh, then there's the weird kids who think they're better than everyone else, but in reality, they're just weird and we're all kind of scared of them. If it was really just nerds, jocks, stoners, I think you'd be surprised to learn that now there are kids with varsity letters who also have 4.0s. I'd be surprised if they also managed to do this while permanently high. Gay jocks, the truth is out there. Self-aware and not self-aware. That's it. I recently graduated, so I'm up to date. This is the only two-group list that is actually accurate. These days people are more varied. You're not just a nerd. You're a popular nerd. You're not just a nerd. You're a nerd that doesn't always use correct English. Heck, bullies can be smart. No matter what. People can be friends and come together, so I'd say people don't have one defining feature or anything. There aren't really cliques in the stereotypical way in my school, but I'll put down some that I've seen. SoundCloud rappers, mostly awful Lil Pump clones, but some of them are decent. Most of them are pretty nice, too. Wannabe cool kids, they go to parties a lot, or at least talk about partying a lot, do drugs, once again. They at least talk an awful lot about drugs, and jokingly tease everybody else all the time. They're decent people, but I mostly avoid them. Edgy kids, emo kids, Tumblr kids, etc. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't have a name for this one, but I usually call them bowl cut guys since all of them have bowl cuts. They're kind of like a mix of white ghetto kids, stereotypical nerds, and jerks. Some of them are okay, but most are completely awful and don't even hold their own friends in high regard. Another weird group I've seen are kids who are put into special ed for no reason. I know at least 5 of them. They're all perfectly normal people who are in special ed for something that they did once 10 years ago. They all kind of hang out together for the most part, and most of the conversations involve wanting to be out of special ed. Source: I was put into special ed at some point in elementary school and still haven't been able to get out. I have good grades, and there is literally nothing on my IEP. I hate that this group exists, but I'm glad I'm not the only one in it. Most of our activities and special ed classes involve watching Bob Ross and playing Mario. I guess that's a plus. And finally, whatever my main group is, I hang out with a pretty extensive group of people. Everybody I know seems to know somebody else in it in some way. It's kind of a melting pot of every other group. Edgy kids, memers, though most of our memes are in jokes at this point, sci-fi nerds, fantasy nerds, anime nerds, druggies, a minority, but still present, unfortunately, etc. This is probably the biggest group in the school, but we probably wouldn't be considered cool most of the time. Most of the people here enjoy the same kind of music I do too, which is neat. Asian nerds, that will always exist, but they're a lot cooler than portrayed. Memers are a big one. They're like a middle group almost and can come from combinations of other groups. But they are primarily different because of the tastes of memes they like, and they don't follow men in normie culture memes unless it's for ironic enjoyment. Girls who will go on and on about how much they love to read and how much of a book nerd they are. When you ask them about it though, all they have read is Harry Potter and Divergent 47 times. Don't forget The Hunger Games and The Fault in Our Stars. Surprised nobody mentioned whatever the frick you call the socially awkward girl who comes in with a cat alias and says words like yosh and glomp. Oh, my school had the generally crappy people who gossip a lot, get involved with other people's business, start drama basically. They're a living reality show. Hippo beasts, and a ton of them too. All they do is wear $300 jeans and $150 shoes and then post themselves buying crap at the mall on a daily basis. Like JFC, we get it, you're rich. Another group that I've been seeing recently are the cringy fandom Tumblreds who use internet slang in real life. They also get triggered easily and still use memes from like 2012. You older people should be glad that you don't have to experience this crap on a daily basis. Cliques are still a thing. I'm a senior in a small town, and everybody is kind of interwoven. I'm friends with some nerds, with some jocks, and with some stoners. Sure, not everyone is friends with everyone else, but people mix a lot more. At my 6th form college, like 16-18-year-olds for you outside the UK, there's really 2 cliques of people that stick out. 1. The BTEC students. A lot of these guys are basically modern day chavs. They wear North Face or Super D jackets, tracksuit pants. They always have some sort of small pouch or bag to store their tobacco and weed and stuff. They sport their Nike or Adidas trainers, and you'll most likely always run into them around the engineering departments or outside the front of the college smoking. 2. Social sciences students. These kinds of people will study stuff like psychology, sociology, philosophy and ethics etc. and basically stand out because of their bright dyed hair, those fighting animal testing bags, really extravagant alternative makeup and clothing, and you'll usually find them all around the college in the coffee shops and, if it's warm, sitting outside on the grass. Obviously there's your usual stuff too, like nerds, jocks, stoners, metalheads, etc, but these are the 2 types that I feel are not really portrayed in any kind of media, but they stand out a lot. You have been visited by Reverse Psychology Doggo. Please do not comment and do not subscribe to Updoot Reddit. Thank you for your attention. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.